Hi all, it's Barb coming to my class today. I've got an update on how I'm doing in the Get Organized challenge that I'm doing. I'll be right back. I started a unofficial, I always call it unofficial. Tiffany says it's official, but I call it unofficial because Tiffany doesn't do any lives and there's no prizes. So it is different from a normal challenge. So I call it unofficial. So this was week 1, which is set yourself up for success. My video earlier in the week, I talked about what the actual homework was, but I kind of set up my own homework because I've done the challenge so many times that not all of the things that are normally assigned apply to me. So mine was to set up my big benefit board because a lot of times I just leave that set up all the time. But I hadn't done a challenge since I moved down here into this space as my craft studio, so I hadn't reset it up. So I got that all done. I always have my big benefit up. I've got a letter board that I put my big benefit on, and I always leave that up to remind me to try to keep things tidy. My other one, I try to do this at least once a year. If I do more than one challenge, I usually do it every challenge. It's review my themes and sentiment list. And I did make, I think, maybe 1 or 2 small changes, not a whole lot. And this is my themes and sentiment list here. You got your alphabets and numbers, and then your themes A to Z, the calendar year. My calendar year, because that's one people ask about. This is how I set mine up. I mean, you can go January, February, March, April, May. You just do the year, but I do mine this way because it keeps things together better, because winter, where I'm at, winter starts in December. So if I go January to December, some of the winter stuff isn't together. So I start with winter. Christmas, New Year's is in there. And then spring, I have subdivided by Valentine's, St. Patrick, Easter. I used to have Mother's Day there, but I just have a note to see family because I moved that to family. I put anything mom related in family. And summer, I have graduation, and I did the same thing with Father's Day. I have a note, see family. And patriotic, I put all my patriotic there, whether it's Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, Veterans Day, whatever. I put anything that's kind of patriotic in my summer category, patriotic. Fall, I have Halloween and Thanksgiving. And then there's my rainbow, which I have a section labeled multi-clear. That's another one that comes up, is what do you do with like a sheet of stickers that has either a lot of different color, bunch of different colors on that same strip. Now, if they're just strip, if like this row's all red, or this row or this column's all red, I just slice them apart. But I find a lot of times they go like red, yellow, green, blue, and they keep kind of doing that. So you can't really cut them. You have to cut each one apart individually. I don't do that. I just put that in my multi-section. And it also includes clear items that I can make any color I want, or even sometimes like I'll put like my chipboard items that don't have a specific color to them that you can paint or whatever. I put them in that section too, because they can be whatever color I want them to be. So that's kind of what I do with that one. Gather your supplies by the week. The early ones are part of the regular homework. In my other side of my craft studio, I have little like letter trays that I got at the Bonsai Playground, I think, and I just did one for each week. And I still need to add my notes of anything else I want to do that week that won't fit in that container, which I'll somewhat do when I print out my list like this. This one's kind of messy because I have my homework, and then I have the list of regular homework, and when I made the post about that homework, because I try to go in my Facebook group and in the Get Organized Challenge. It's called Get Organized with Totally Tiffany now. In that group, I try to make a post for each homework piece. And this week there's a lot of steps, so I started out doing 3, and I'm down to 2, and I think the final day I'll just do 1. But that way I get through all of the pieces of homework. So I did gather my supplies. I relocated my purge box so that it's a little easier to get to. It's still kind of blocked, but I only have to pull my cart out and it's right there, whereas before I had to pull 2 carts out to get to it. So it's better. Create a plan for each week, which I did do that. In Excel, I made a sheet like this for each week. I need to print them out, but so that's something I still need to do to completely finish that. But set up a new GOC binder, which I bought this binder for that purpose. I need to come up with something for the front cover. The back cover I put my themes and sentiments on, but that way in here I've got this is Tiffany's craft room cleanup schedule. I had asked her to create something like this for maintenance in between challenges and just cleaning your craft room in general, because I said I've got kind of an idea, and I said, and I've went online and I've got them for other rooms, but there's really not anything really tailored to a craft room. So she created that, and that file, it's on her website somewhere, but it's also I've also uploaded into the Get Organized group and into my group. Probably be easier to find in my group. And then I made tabs for each week. I printed out the handouts, and in week 1's case, I printed out some of the articles about the 4-section system and stuff, because I just like having it all together. Sometimes if I don't know the question or answer to a question, or more importantly, what article that was in, I can flip here real quick, and then I can toss a link up for somebody else to see where I got my information. So I did that, and then my last one was to share with you how I'm doing. So that's kind of where I stand this week. Next week, starting Monday, we'll start working on paper. So if you're following along, I also did share my themes and sentiment list. This is a printout of my file in my group, and I think it's also in the Get Organized with Totally Tiffany group. And this one I kind of wrote a little more out just so people could see kind of what I did. The one question I got was about shapes. Do you have a shapes category? And I do, but for me, the shapes category in my scrap rack, or it could be anywhere, you don't have to use a scrap rack, is for cataloging. So I representations of punches, dies, stencils that are just kind of just shapes. They don't really have a theme to them. So I catalog them there. But now if I've punched out like a bunch of circles or squares or whatever, or hearts, I file them where they go. Now for me, hearts go in Valentine's Day. If I need a heart for something else, I know it's in Valentine's. So that works for me because my brain, when I see heart, automatically thinks Valentine's. When I see stars, I automatically think patriotic. So I put stars in patriotic. But like a circle, it would depend on the paper it's cut out of. If it's cut out of Christmas paper, I'm going to put it in Christmas. If it's cut out of red paper, I'm going to put it in my rainbow section under red. Because if I'm looking for something red, that's where I'm going to flip to first. And then if I go, then I might flip over to my shape section and say, okay, do I have anything that I could make this color that will work for what I'm doing? So that's kind of how I handled the shapes category. That's the only question I really seen anybody really ask. I could have missed some because, I may not see every last post that goes up in the Get Organized group. In my group, it's not so bad. I can kind of see it. But like I said, I figured that's probably a question other people had, so I figured I would address that here. I'm hoping I can keep going with this challenge and really kind of get things finally done. Oh, my reward for this week, that's the final thing, which I did write down reward, but I had it down a little bit. The containers that I bought yesterday, I'm using for my reward this week. I'll share in case you didn't watch my haul video. I have these containers. I used to store books because I like them because you can usually fit a single row of books unless it's a really oversized book in here. So I'm trying to clear out the bookshelf I have a storage closet off our main bath. And I've mainly used that for crafting stuff now, but my books are still in there that I need to read. So I was looking for someplace else to put those because I wanted to put my decor stuff there too. All my seasonal decor is in the garage. That's a job I got done last year by season. If I think about it, I will pop a picture at the end showing my garage, how it's all organized now. But I have some decor that can work for any season, especially like on my tiered trays that I do. So I was trying to get that stuff kind of filtered down. Like I have a container full of lights. I have one with like greenery type pieces, just kind of some vases, some general decor. So I'm trying to find a nice place to put those so they're easy to get to. I didn't want to put them in the garage because I pull them out more often because I might use different things from there every time I change my tray. So I didn't want those in the garage. It's not so bad having the season in because I can go out. Like right now I have my patriotic stuff up, but when I take this down, I can just take the patriotic stuff down, pack it back into those containers, put those in the garage, and pull my summer containers out and bring them in the house. And put the decorations up and then put the empties in the garage. So that's not so bad because it's a once a month thing that I'm only pulling, the patriotic ones that one time twice, once to put them up and once to put them away. But the everyday ones, I might have to get that out every month of the year. So I wanted those more conveniently located. And I do also have some seasonal decor back there that I don't want in the garage. Like candles out in the garage. It gets too hot. They tend to melt. Especially if they're shaped candles. If they're jarred candles, that's not quite so bad. But like I have some that are patriotic shapes that look like stars. So I don't want them out in the garage because they'll melt in the summer. And I have some snow globes for different seasons. I have, of course, for Christmas, but I also have, I think, some for Halloween, and I think I even have one for patriotic. Out there in the winter, they freeze, and when it warms up, they burst. So I don't want them out there. I found that out the hard way. I used to keep that stuff out on my back porch, and that's what happened there. Because while I use my back porch for some storage, usually it's more kitchen stuff, because I have a really small kitchen, so I put lesser used appliances out there, and some of my cookbooks are out there. I mean, it's lockable, and it's protected from the weather, but it does get really cold out there, or really hot in the summer, because it's not heated or air conditioned. But that's really all I've got to share today. I hope if you're doing the challenge that you're having good progress. If you're not, I hope you're just enjoying hearing how I'm doing with it. But I'm hoping I can stick with it throughout the 8 weeks. I did tell my hubby yesterday, I said, when we get to week 3, which is photos, I'm going to need some help from him, because the main photos I have left to sort are digital ones of copy photos that I scanned from his mom's house. And I said, I want to get them down by at least the decade. This challenge, I think I'm just going to focus on the decade. So I'm going to create folders within that, because I have several folders in there that need to be done. So I think I'm going to start with one folder at a time and create folders within that, and do them in, and then copy and paste those folders into the next one, and do that, and then I'll get them in. Then once I get to doing to year, I'll incorporate them into my full photo folder. But I think that might be the easiest way for now, so that I don't have to keep bouncing back and forth. But that's kind of probably one of my biggest tasks that I have left to do. And the other big one is my digital crafting files. But I don't think I have that written down. That's another thing I did on my list. It's not on this printed one. Oh, I know why. I didn't have it for week 1. But what I'm doing on, like, for week 2, the paper week, I'm trying to write down anything that I want to do in future challenges, so that I don't forget about that. Like, I have my digital paper files that I want to organize in a future one, but I'm not going to, right now I want to focus on the physical stuff outside of photos. I do have digital ones I want to do. But anyways, thanks for joining me. I'll catch you next time.